I know this is going to kind of date the video here, but Extra Life is coming up this weekend. Extra Life, if you don't know what it is, it's a charity event that raises money for Children's Miracle Network hospitals. And all around the world, there's going to be thousands of gamers live streaming for 24 hours on the 5th of November of 2016, and we're going to be raising money to help sick kids. It's a great cause. And this is my 5th year, I think? Yeah, that sounds about right. Now, a lot of people are going to be doing Extra Life for the first time, or they're going to be live streaming for the first time, or doing a 24-hour game-a-thon for the first time, or maybe down the road, people are going to watch this video later on who are doing a different event, and that's cool. So I'd like to offer this up. I'm not a powerhouse of fundraising by any means, but I've done it a couple times. So these are my top 7 tips of surviving your first 24-hour gaming marathon. And why top 7? Well, we all have our traditions. This might sound like a no-brainer, but choose your game with some care. 24 hours is a long time to fill. Now, the first year I did Extra Life, I played World of Warcraft for 24 hours with a break for the server reset. Now, I did this because, well, I had WoW, and I also knew I could probably find enough to do for 24 hours to keep playing it, but you can't do this with all of your games. Even games that advertise 40 to 60 hours of content, yeah, after the first 10 hours, you're probably going to be ready for some killer games of Solitaire and Minesweeper. You also have to be ready for game failure too, so having a backup game or 5 is not a bad plan. Seriously, in 2015, during my 24 hours of Ratchet and Clank, the final boss fight rage quit on me when my PlayStation 2 crashed in the later hours of the stream. That was, interesting. So, I'd recommend having a variety of games. If you love first-person shooters, well, naturally have some of those ready to go, but also a few simple games that you can take a break from the FPS action. A side-scroller, a short indie 2D platformer, something you can play for like maybe an hour or two as just sort of a downtime from the intense action. I'm not saying you shouldn't bash through one game in 24 hours, because I've done that too. It's a lot of fun. But having some variety is not a bad thing. And you also kind of have to factor in exhaustion too, because by about hour 14 or 16, your KD ratio is just, straight down. So you might want to swap to something just a little more sedate. This is something you want to do well in advance of the event, but sometimes, I get it, life happens, it can't be helped. This is especially poignant for MMOs or other online games that have updates, patches, and so on. You gotta plan ahead. Before the event, or at least the very night before the event, boot up every game you're thinking about playing. You don't even have to play it. Just get all the updates, all the patches, whatever the game needs to run. Now this way, you can just open them on the fly as you want. The worst thing you can do on game day is get stuck on a progress bar for an hour. This also goes for pre-testing all your gadgets too. I like to play PlayStation 2 games on my actual PlayStation 2 console. I've got a capture card and I plugged it into the USB port and I play directly into the streaming interface. And this takes a little behind the scenes work, in that I have to turn off my screensaver and my power settings to prevent my computer from shutting down because it thinks I'm being inactive. You'll have to take my word on this. Having your computer shut down mid-stream, not nearly as cool as you think it is. Neither is having your computer do a malware sweep halfway into your 24-hour gaming marathon. So, yeah, plan ahead. Preload and pre-test everything well beforehand. And check your monthly settings, too. This is actually a lot more critical than you think, because if you try to do an entire marathon on nothing but snacks and Red Bull, you're going to crash hard 6 hours in, if not sooner. So, here's where my life behind bars is going to come in handy. Cycling. I'm a cyclist. Granted, gaming is not going to be as strenuous as cycling, unless you're going to stream DDR or Wario, Ware, or, I don't know, Zwift, and anyway. You can still take lessons from the endurance sports. Eat right on game day. You need to eat real food, not just snacks. Let's start with a decent breakfast. I'm not talking about just throwing Pop-Tarts into the toaster. I mean something like, I like oatmeal, bagels, and eggs. That's my taste. You can do whatever you like. Start with a lot of good fuel in your tank, and it's going to carry you far. Also, what I end up doing is preparing food the night before. I'll make sandwiches. Those keep pretty well. There's also the frozen pizza technique. That works out good. Just pop in the frozen pizza, you play around a Rocket League or two, and then after about 20 minutes, you got hot pizza. But you're probably going to want something more than just that. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have snacks. By all means, chow down if you need it, but do it smart. Eating nothing but sugar snacks, that'll give you instant energy in the short term, but the crash on the other side, it sucks. What you're looking for is slow burn food, stuff that's not going to spike your blood sugar levels. Like what? I like Gorp. Good old raisins and peanuts. It's cheap, it's easy to buy pre-made, or you can just make it yourself. I'm also a fan of energy bars, but for gaming, that might be a little overkill. And very quickly before I move on, I want to talk about drinks. Don't overkill the caffeine, especially in energy drinks and things like that, because if you take in too much caffeine, it can really mess up your system. So always keep tabs on how much caffeine that you're taking in at any given time. Matter of fact, I did a show about this a long time ago, so you can check it out in the up there. Check it out in the cards in the upper corner, right up there. So yeah. Yeah, I'm a diabetic and I've got a thing of gummy bears on my desk. Don't judge me. Your body was not designed to sit for hours at a time. You need to get up and you need to move. The research for this is actually pretty rock solid. It's just how often you should move that things start to get a little confusing. Because I've seen everything from every few hours to every 20 minutes. And yeah, every 20 minutes might not be practical for gaming purposes, but here's what I think you should do. Every hour or so, stand up. Just stretch your legs a little bit. If you can, walk around just a little bit. And then every 3 hours or so, take at least a 10-minute break. Really get out and move around. If you can, go outside. Seriously, get away from your gaming area. Your eyes need the break, and so do your legs and your arms and your back and pretty much everything. If you're going for a 24-hour marathon, work in at least one break to clean up, because nothing's going to bring you back to life after 18 hours of gaming more than a nice hot shower and a big breakfast. Okay, yeah, it's 30 to 45 minutes of downtime on your stream, but you'll get over the 18-hour slump and you're ready for that last final push. I cannot stress enough that you have to get up and move around. Seriously, you can hurt yourself pretty badly if you just sit in one place for hours and hours at a time. There's just a lot of things about that. Actually, there's one of the things I miss about the old arcade gaming, because in the old arcades, you had to stand up to play and you were moving around. You were moving from machine to machine every 5 or 10 minutes. Actually, come to think of it, you can probably stand up while you play modern video games too. That's old school. I've done 24 hours soloing, and I've done 24 hours with friends, and it is way easier to do it with friends, especially if you're live streaming. Being able to have a conversation really helps a lot when you're getting late into the night. That, and if you need a breather, you can host their stream for a while you take the break you need. I've seen it work by getting people all around one table, you get people all on one landline, you get everybody on Discord. It doesn't matter, because there are plenty of ways to get everybody together in one, even virtual place that will game with you well into the night, and it doesn't cost you anything. And speaking of that, if you've never live streamed before, now might be a good time to try it out. This isn't going to be a live streaming 101 video, but there's a lot of advantages to going live on a charity event. Mainly, random people might see your stream and they might want to donate to the cause. There's also a lot of free programs that you can get, like OBS. It's absolutely free. XSplit has a free model, but you can also pay for a subscription. XSplit's a little more resource intensive, but I have a background in TV production and I'm a control freak for details, so I end up using XSplit more because, yeah. Once you have your streaming software sorted out, now it's time to set up the screen. And forgive me now, this is going to be a little bit long-winded, but there's a lot going on here, but there's a reason for it. So first of all, face cam. Everybody loves a good face cam. So this is easy to set up if you've got a simple web camera. It's just easy. It's just right in the software you can do this. Now, of course, you're going to need a background screen. Well, you don't need one, but it makes it nicer. I like this because it's got the charity in the corner. It's got some social media links and some URLs that people can... There it is. People can look it up for themselves and find out more about what you're doing. Of course, you need to have the game screen because, well, you got to play something out here. Let's add this. This is normally would be a web chat where people in your chat room can see themselves appearing on your screen, but since I'm not really live streaming right now, there's nothing there. I like to add this in the corner. That's a little clock so people can get an idea what time it is for me, where I'm at. But this is the most important thing, and this is the overlay. This is something that shows people, in real time, it shows people how much we're raising. It has a URL, and then when people donate money, a little cool thing pops up on the screen. It's all animated, and it's really cool, and people love it. Now, you're looking at all this going, wow, that's really kind of slick. I wish I could do something like that, but I just don't have the time. Actually, it's really easy to set something up like this, and it's absolutely free. This information is current as of October 2016, so down the road, caveat emptor. There's a lot of websites you can make overlays like mine. The first one is called Stream Pro, and you can make templates with cool pop-ups, and people donate, it comes up, it's all cool. They also can leave a message on your screen, it's really cool. Another is Restream, so you can broadcast across several platforms simultaneously. Again, this is not a live streaming 101 show. What I want to do is I just want to demonstrate very quickly that there are lots of free resources that you can tap, and you can make your stream look good. So just find one of these sources and just experiment with stuff and find out what works for you. unless it happens to be 0 hour, in which case, yeah, just grab a template and plug and chug. And finally, pace yourself. 24 hours is a long time to be gaming, so don't put all of your effort and energy into the first 2 hours. Also, don't expect to make your goal in the first hour. This is a long grinder, so settle in, enjoy yourself. This is why it's important to have some slower games that you can play, just so you can get a break from high-intensity gaming. There's also another thing to remember too. If something feels wrong, stop. A few years ago, I was starting to get some really bad leg cramps, and I had to bail out after about 10 hours. Now, I felt bad about that, but it was getting outright painful to keep on gaming. Like I said, sitting still for 24 hours can do bad things to your system, so if something feels off, or if it doesn't feel right, stop. It's not worth hurting yourself. You can fundraise another day. And that should be enough to get everybody started. Now, I know I left a lot of things out, so if you've got any tips, feel free to leave them down below and help your fellow gamers out. And I appreciate that myself, because I'd like to make an addendum video to this sometime possibly in the future. But in the short term, let's see, a dated sales pitch incoming, so brace for it. Extra Life coming up this weekend. I'm going to be live streaming on Twitch, Hitbox, and YouTube Gaming, so I'll put links down below for that. Also, I'll put on screen right here, this is where you can donate to the page that I've set up. If we reach the goal by the end of my live stream on the 5th and 6th of November, I'm going to get an Otter Gaming tattoo, and it will be filmed. Yeah, you can make me go through a lot of pain if you, yeah, just saying. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you like the show, give it a thumbs up. And if you've got something to add, leave a comment in the comments section. Did you really like the show? You can subscribe absolutely free. And if you want to support what we do here, you can do so on Patreon, or now you can make a one-time donation through YouTube on our main page, or through the cards in the upper right-hand corner. Thank you again. And one thing before I go, you might be wondering about the hat and the lack of glasses. I'm filming this on Halloween, and we spent a couple hours handing out candy to kids, and I'm still technically in my Halloween costume because I needed to rush in here and film this and get it out to you guys in time. And just for the record, do you have any idea how hard it is to sit here with rudder butt for the entire time?